his 4th consecutive Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Creighton is without a key player. Pop Isaacs had 29 in the win against #1 Kansas. He is out for the season. Meanwhile, Latrell Wrightsell is out for the year for Alabama after a torn Achilles. So this is a Creighton team that is playing thin and young tonight. Big fella gets an easy early look.
Well, and Alabama's got to be furious because they want to front the post, but assuming backside help. No backside help whatsoever.
You mentioned Mark Sears in the open. Creighton's got a pretty good point guard in their own right, and Stephen Ashworth. That should be a fun matchup to watch tonight. Ashworth trailing Sears off of the high screen. LeBaron Philon not shooting the ball especially well for Bama lately, and that one's knocked away by Kalkbrenner. Here's Creighton on the run. They will pick and choose when to push the tempo tonight. Here's Ashworth. A Creighton team that is 11th in the country in three-point rate, similar to Alabama. They love to shoot it from behind the arc. Kalkbrenner, jump hook. That one is halfway down and popped out. Sears has had some inconsistencies early on, and he gets it to the push shot. And we're tied early.
Great patience by Sears. Get in the lane, read the shot blocker, hesitate. Nice floater.
Kalkbrenner blocks 8% of the twos. They get in the air when he's on the floor. Jackson McAndrew, great shooter, but off the mark. They're waiting him to really find his form. Neither one of these teams, I should say, shooting as well from deep as they want to. Philon floater, good.
Well, and you see the floaters in the lane because you're not going to be able to get all the way to the rim on this Creighton team like you normally do if you're Alabama.
Ashworth out to Kalkbrenner. That was in and out. He's had two just fall off the rim.
Quick pace, which favors Alabama early.
Sears kicks it out. Here's Philon. Just 2 for his last 12 from deep, and Stevenson loses it out of bounds. It's interesting watching what Creighton does with its drop coverage. In their upset against #1 Kansas, they got DeJuan Harris, KU's point guard, to put up 21 shots, most of them coming in that right outside the arc area. Greg McDermott is a great, almost as good a defensive coach in his 15 seasons as Creighton as he is an offensive coach.
Well, and they know Alabama is not going to turn their corner and shoot the mid-range. Nate Oates has put a moratorium on the mid-range here in Tuscaloosa, and so they're waiting on Alabama to come to them at the rim. So far, Alabama's been able to convert on a couple nice floaters.
Kalkbrenner slow playing this one. Guarded by Aiden Sherrill. Shot clock, single digits. McAndrew working on Grant Nelson. That's a fun matchup. Nelson pulls down the rebound. Nelson can stroke it from deep, but off the mark. Ashworth has hit a 3 in 28 consecutive games. He's got a mismatch with Nelson, but can't shake him. Here's the lob, and a foul on Sherrill, his first.
And that's the pass Creighton's going to have to convert on if they want to get Kalkbrenner the ball. It's a tough target because Alabama is committed to fronting 11 in blue and then try to trap it once he gets it, or hope that he doesn't get it at all. So 11 in blue has got great hands, and Creighton must get him the ball.
Stop the block extended, and the lead passer. Here's the double. Brings up Ashworth from deep. That is 29 straight games with a three-pointer for Stephen Ashworth.
And they did not disguise that double team. That was way too predictable. That's easy money for Creighton's offense.
On the other side, off the mark, and a foul on the rebound. We'll keep it on this end of the floor.
Look at that last play. Look at this double team. I mean, that's too easy. Kalkbrenner's like, okay, thanks for letting me know you're doubling. I'll find a wide open shooter. You've got to disguise that more and catch him when he's not looking. Force him to turn baseline into the help.
Bama just 2 for 5 early on. That includes 0 for 2 from deep. Sears pounded by Ashworth. Sherrill for 3. Got it. His first make for Aiden Sherrill of the season from behind the arc. Kalkbrenner comes free for a moment. Lost it on the turn. Alabama with a chance to run. Phylon strong. Ashworth flails as he goes. Kansas went for a double-double, 17 and 10, despite playing at less than 100%.
He's a tough kid. They don't win that matchup last year against Alabama if he doesn't tough it up in the second half.
Off balance bank shot for Darion Reed. By the way, Chris Youngblood, number 8 in crimson on the floor for the first time this season. Last year's American Athletic Conference Player of the Year. He had been out with an injury, an ankle, in the preseason. Neal coughs it up. Scooped up by Aiden Holloway. And here's Youngblood with his first touch. He is an elite scorer. Sears reverses. What a play for Mark Sears.
That's a matchup they'll take all day long. Sears on Trout, and they got Kalkbrenner to get away from the basket there. That's as easy of a two as I think Sears will have all night.
It's interesting seeing the 5 on the floor for Alabama right now. This is the first time they played together in a game, including Holloway, the Auburn transfer. They have maybe as much depth as anybody in the country. Kalkbrenner gets a whistle on a touch from Grant Nelson.
We'll go back to that look from Sears. He recognizes he has the mismatch, and he's just going to take the big man Trout off the bounce. And Kalkbrenner's worried about Nelson up there, not quite in the deep position where Sears is expecting him. He says, "Whew, this is nice. You forgot about me, 11."
So Kalkbrenner to the free throw line, 78% on the season. He opened the year with a performance for the ages. That does not happen very often. He put up 49 in their opener. Kalkbrenner dealing with an injury to the midsection that has bothered him, as I mentioned, over the last couple of weeks. An injury he suffered when they were in Las Vegas. And the St. Louis native, you mentioned it, 24 straight games at the block. And he's had a tough shooting day today. 1 for 4 from the floor and 0 for 2 from the line. Bama on a 9-0 run. Darion Reed nearly coughed it up. This is incredible depth for Alabama. Sears short. Ashworth, good vision. They push it up, had a corner 3, passed on it. Isaac Trout, no. And Creighton has started this game 1 for 4 from 3. Holloway penetrates. Youngblood doesn't wait long. Might be some nerves that he tries to work out. Nate Oates said, we will see Chris Youngblood in the game tonight. We got to get him up to speed, though, because he's missed so much, having missed the first 9 games.
Yeah, a little bit rusty as Youngblood, but as you mentioned, try to ease him into the game. Don't expect huge minutes. But this is not quite the rotation or lineup. You had Youngblood sitting out, and then Houston Millette comes in the game, who decided to lift his red shirt for the best of the team after Reitzel went out with that injury to the Achilles.
And a good game against North Carolina last time out. It's been since December 4th when Alabama last played. Ashworth, no. Kalkbrenner there. And pick a big on who you're going to give that foul to. It'll be charged to Clifford Amori. It is his first.
And that's one way to get Kalkbrenner the ball, is just inside shots. And Ashworth is known for his three-point shooting, the point guard for Creighton. And Alabama wants to force him to the basket. And he's going to have to keep attacking and show that he can finish around the rim. And if he doesn't, guess what? He's got a 7'1" big man ready to collect if he doesn't.
He has put up incredible numbers in his career at Creighton, and especially over the last season and a quarter. This year, Dane, with that, he has been fouled 42 times. He has committed only 10 personal fouls. And this is a guy who's one of the best shot blockers in the country. That just doesn't add up.
He's such a smart, cerebral player, so patient. And he sets a lot of ball screens, too. Typically, a 7'1" guy setting a ball screen on the perimeter is going to get called for some of those illegal picks. But he's so smart, doesn't get sped up. And opponents have thrown everything in the world at him over 3+ years. Yet he just keeps playing his same game and improving year in, year out.
Frederick King replaces Kalkbrenner in the post. Bama changes what they want to do. Corner three. That's what they want to do all day. And it's a first bucket for Chris Youngblood in an Alabama uniform. 1,735 points in his college career. Mentioned Creighton without Pop Isaacs and with Kalkbrenner on the bench right now. Might be tough to find a go-to on offense, and so they turn to the veteran Stephen Ashworth.
A couple big buckets. This one here is the flare screen to Youngblood. What's funny about this play is earlier in shoot-around, Youngblood went the wrong way, and Nate Oates stopped and said, if you will listen to me, you'll get a wide-open three in the corner. Run it again. And guess what? He gets his first three-pointer on that exact play.
Now, you don't have to tell a scorer twice. You go here and you'll get a bucket. How about Stephen Ashworth, though? This guy's been around for a while, married, and welcomed his son Tommy J in the offseason, along with his wife Peyton. He told us today he is an elite diaper changer. Confidence no matter what the world asks of him to do. Here's Youngblood. Kicks. A drive and one. Mohamed Diabate with the bucket, his first of the game.
Well, they are driving the closeouts of Creighton, specifically Trout, who is a terrific shooter, 41 in blue. But this is a tough matchup on the perimeter. And so when he closes out, you drive hard. And for those basketball players at home, you remember back in the day of catch it in triple threat, and you got your three options. Nate Oates says, no, forget that. We're catching this thing on the go and playing as fast as possible.
They got it from Greg Popovich. It's called a .5 game. When you touch the ball, you have 1/2 of a second to shoot, to pass, or to drive. Aggressive look from Ashworth that time.
Yeah. That's not the entry pass they're accustomed to seeing him make.
Youngblood down the paint. Ashworth picks up the charge.
And you just got to love the leadership there. Makes a poor decision on one end. Doesn't salt, gets back and says, I'm just going to take this charge right in the chest and get the ball back.
What do you like about Stephen Ashworth's game?
How it's evolved over time. At Utah State, after he did his missionary trip after high school, serves 2 years, and he was a freshman catch and stick shooter. Wasn't good off the bounce, much less a point guard. Now he's a terrific elite point guard who I think is looking forward to this opportunity to show the country, hey, Mark Sears isn't the only top point guard in the country on the court tonight.
Neal off the mark. He's coming off of a near triple-double, 19, 9, and 9 assists in the win against UNLV. 2 for the Blue Jays have put it in the bucket. Wow, that was an aggressive line. Man, how about that for a baseline out of bounds?
He was trying to catch a body or 4 of them. But to your point, Tom, fatigue is going to be a factor in this game, and that's an advantage to Alabama, where Creighton wants to maybe take a little bit of time off the clock on these half-court possessions.
Kalkbrenner off balance with the little jump hook. He's only 1 for 4. This is a Creighton bench that gave him 33, a season high in the game against UNLV. But not only are they thinner, but they're also younger. With more freshmen seeing the floor, Sears gets by and dumps it off with a jam by Omori.
Well, great job of moving without the ball by Omori, because Sears attracts the attention from Kalkbrenner, and nobody helps the helper for Creighton.
Speaking of youth, freshman Ty Davis from just up the road of Mountain Brook High School turns it over in his first possession. And the breakaway layup for Aiden Holloway. Davis he sent over 20 tickets out to friends and family, including his dad, Tyler. That Mountain Brook program that has won 6 state championships since 2013. Ashworth behind Kalkbrenner for 3. Creighton is not shooting the ball well tonight. Here's Sears, finds a gap. Byline. Little floater.
And convert. I mean, this is a team that loves the 3-ball, but only 5 of their 17 attempts have been from deep. And why take them if you're this effective from 2?
16 of their 24 have come in the paint. Kalkbrenner backs down Sherrill. Maya Neal had a great game last time out, playing with a lot of confidence. That one's no good. Here's Sears. Alabama 6th in the country in tempo. Get off an early one here. And now Ashworth, 5th-year senior out of Alpine, Utah. Started at Utah State, played there for 3 years. And now Mason Miller. He's really struggling, just 3 for 20 from 3, even though his 3 makes have come in the last handful of games. Last year, Mason Miller led the Big East in 3-point percentage at 45%.
It's only a matter of time till 13 gets it going. He's a terrific shooter as Mason Miller, but he broke his leg in the offseason. He's also going from playing the 4, surrounded by a lot of great perimeter scorers, to now he's playing a 3, and he's rusty from certain injuries. So it's an adjustment period for him, and tough timing with the injury bug that he's had. But this is a heck of a player and a guy that's going to get it going sooner than later.
I remember his dad, Mike, NBA champion, 2001 Rookie of the Year. Played his college basketball in the SEC at Florida. Ball fake, good ball movement. Sears all alone. Got it. All Bama early. Creighton hasn't scored the last 4 minutes plus. Ashworth fouled on the 3. Sports standout when he played college ball, the NAI level football and baseball. And Nate Oates also played 2 sports. He was a basketball and football player, Maranatha Baptist. Ran into some of his high school teammates, his college teammates last year on one of the road trips, and they said, you know, none of us really knew exactly what we were getting into. We showed up at tiny Maranatha Baptist, and our first road trip, one guy was telling me, he said, I didn't bring any bedding. I didn't think I needed to. And then I realized that we weren't staying in a hotel on our budget. We were staying in a local church. Everyone else had sleeping bags and pillows. All I had was my duffel bag. He said, it was the last time I'd make that mistake.
You imagine Nate Oates as an offensive coordinator? Like, all right, we get 3.1 yards per screen pass, and it's only effective in the 3rd quarter and right after halftime.
11 years a high school head coach. That's a high percentage. Look, Kalkbrenner throws it in. He's got a half dozen.
What a great design play out of the timeout by Coach McDermott.
Reed downhill and then dumps it off. Amoria's got his 2nd bucket.
And they're getting second chance opportunities. They're getting to the rim as Alabama. And Creighton, with their cold shooting right now, that's part of their problem. But the bigger problem is they just cannot get consecutive stops.
Pass just a little bit behind. Holloway knocked it out of bounds. And look at this depth that Alabama has. You know, Holloway last year was on the SEC All-Freshman team, started 26 games for Auburn. And what I see, Dane, is it allows them to play at a next level defensively, because that's what's demanded of them, and they can just come at you in waves.
They do, and they've got energy and fresh legs, and they're different styles of play. Like you might have shooters like Holloway, but then Youngblood's got a great build to him, a little bit more physical player that can obviously shoot as well. And then Phylon, you've seen what he can do when he gets in the lane.
Late in the shot clock and off the back rim for Ashworth. It was 1 for 3 from deep in this one. 3 for 3. 8 different Bama players have scored tonight. They've gotten 14 of their 33 from the bench. Scoop shot, couldn't find the rim. He thought he was pushed. Tough road trip for Creighton.
And Creighton's got to get the ball to 5 and blue. Neal. I mean, he nearly had a triple-double, 19 points last game. He's one of their better scorers, and he just has not gotten many touches. 0 for 3.
Blocked and out of bounds off of Creighton. Sears returns for Alabama. Holloway will get a breather. Alabama scoring 1.2 points per possession here in the first 15 minutes of game action. Anything over 1 is good, but Bama's goal is closer to 1.25. Stevenson couldn't beat the shot clock. That one did not hit the rim. They play on.
It's got to be a violation. Yeah, they never hit the rim.
Greg McDermott losing his mind as a team has only made 5. Bama is 7 for 11 at the rim, and that has been a huge part of their success, despite Kalkbrenner being such an influence down on the block on the defensive end.
I tried to design a play for Trout, 41 in blue, who's a terrific shooter, unable to get him open.
39% from deep this season. Here's Jemiah Neal.
And that's the shot he likes, is the mid-range.
Stevenson fires at 3. It's an Alabama team that's going to shoot early. They will shoot often. There are plenty of shots to go around with this great depth that Nate Oates has. Neal downhill and one. And it's his second on LeBaron Philon.
Well, Neal is one of those guys that has to step up with his scoring with Pop Isaacs no longer available. And he did so last game. And here he is on attack mode. And as good as Creighton is from 3, you got to have a guy that puts some pressure on the rim. And Neal does that for him. Terrific drive.
It's UNLV 19-9-9. Only triple-double in school history. Belongs to Baylor Shireman. Did that last year against Georgetown. 15 points, 11 boards, and 11 assists for Shireman. This is a Creighton team that lost a couple of NBA wings as good as Ashworth and Kalkbrenner have been, and they thought they had solved that bringing Isaacs in. That is a huge loss. Stevenson lost it on his way in. And he'll say it'll stay this direction. Bama's made just one of its last 8 attempts. Sears from behind Amori. And a corner 3 action. Alabama asks a lot of its 5-man as the kind of hub of that wheel to help distribute in the half court. Touch inside for Frederick King.
Somehow the switch occurred and Holloway just ended up behind King, and great recognition by Creighton to take advantage of that easy bucket mismatch.
Holloway for a quick 3. King with the rebound.
Well, Creighton's doing a terrific job of just kind of playing 2-on-2 and pick and rolls and staying glued on the perimeter with contested 3s.
King effective, giving Kalkbrenner a breather. He wanted the lob, but Neal couldn't get it there. Trout for 3. Yikes.
Everything against him. Chaz Lanier fouls out. Zakai Ziegler in foul trouble the whole second half, eventually fouls out. And yet the backup point guard Gainey, who was so terrific throughout the entire game, has a once-in-a-lifetime moment there on the road. Walk-off game winner.
Kalkbrenner both back on the floor. That one goes off of his foot. There have been 7 #1 seeds in the history of the NCAA tournament who have finished the regular season with 7 losses. And if you think about Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, the teams, that's just a sampling of those from the SEC that would be in the running if the season ended today for a #1 seed.
Yeah,
there's going to be losses in league play.
No question. I think 13-5 could probably win the league this year. And you figure a lot of those teams going in with maybe 1 or 2 losses into conference play. Some of them might be undefeated the way Tennessee and others are rolling.
Florida won again today. Still undefeated.
Convincingly, might I add.
Floater, good. It is Aiden Holloway. He's got 8. Those floaters have absolutely torched Creighton. Follow tip good for Jemiah Neal.
Creighton starting to get a little bit of rhythm and flow. I think other than we passed that last floater, defensively much better here in the last 10 minutes of this first half.
It's really interesting watching Alabama attack the drop coverage. You and I talked about this morning. Alabama did not change who they are for who Creighton is. They just found a different way to attack.
They do. I mean, they're going to get to that rim. And what I've seen, too, is less ball screens. More, hey, you can win your one-on-one matchup off the dribble with your athleticism, not always needing a ball screen to get yourself to the paint. And I think that's resulted in Kalkbrenner not being as involved in the defensive game plan.
Here's a guy that's 3-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Patrick Ewing was a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. He might be able to share that honor with the Georgetown great. Nelson fouled. That is the second on Jemiah Neal in the last 20 seconds or so.
This is such a tough thing to cover. You cover the ball screen with Sears going to the basket. Kalkbrenner forces him to kick it out to Nelson, and then he drives right down your throat as well, patient in the post. And Creighton, which rarely fouls. I mean, they're one of the nation's best. They win the free throw battle. Their goal is to make more free throws than the other team takes. So you got to convert when you get an opportunity for Alabama.
Well, to your point, Creighton leads the nation in their opponent's free throw rate. Opponents shoot 18%, take 18% of trips to the free throw line relative to field goal attempts. And I was talking with assistant coach Ryan Miller before the game today. I said, how do you do it? He said, we drill it every single day. We show our hands on defense. We put our chest out instead of reaching. There's a cost to it. They don't force as many takeaways as some teams might, but there's certainly a payoff. Kalkbrenner has 8. Nelson took it off with his hip and cut off. And the 3 ends up on a long rebound in the hands of Holloway. Holloway working on the 6'10" Isaac Trout for a moment. And now Sears gets some space. Follow. Multiple follows don't go.
I'll tell you who's had a nice ending to the second half is 0 and blue, Jason Green. I mean, he's a sophomore out of Omaha, has made some good plays, winning some 50-50 balls.
Out of Miller North. Got the Dane Bradshaw jinx.
You'll take that foul. That's all effort.
So Bama shooting 1-1. Creighton just 33% from the floor in this first half. And that includes a 2 for 12 performance from deep. You gotta assume that Stephen Ashworth and these Blue Jays are going to shoot the ball better in the second half.
I think so. And this is a Creighton offense that has a ton of upside and can certainly win games in the 80s. But against the depth of Alabama, to me, I think Creighton has to keep this game in the 70s if they're going to win. If it gets 80 plus, then I think they're in trouble.
Miller dumps it in to Kalkbrenner. Nelson came from out of nowhere, but Kalkbrenner still snuck it in. Double figures for Ryan Kalkbrenner. Shot clock off for Aiden Holloway. Now Mark Sears in Alabama. Creighton has closed to a 2-possession difference for the first time since the 12:47 mark. Late 1.5. Sears off balance. No good. 17-point lead. Bama has the ball to start the second half. Let's see what Nate Oates drew up. A screen for Sears, and he buries a 3.
Just an awesome design play. You hit the post, and you get Sears coming off 2 screens to that strong side.
So first 12 minutes, Bama was scoring 1.26 points per possession. The last 8, oof. Creighton really turned it up defensively, and that has made Alabama a lot less efficient.
And that's great info. That's the exact number they went over as a staff at halftime. Thanks to Coach Bowman for sharing some of that with us. They track that constantly.
Adam Bowman runs Bamalytics. Got a t-shirt and everything. Here's Nelson. What a quiet night for Grant Nelson, giving him 2 points a game, preseason all-conference. 6'11" fifth-year senior from Devils Lake, North Dakota, gets his second bucket of the game.
What a get by Alabama. They don't make their Final Four run without him, and he is the absolute glue to this team.
He really turned it up late last year. Played a good chunk of the season out of position at the 5. Creighton will let it get to single digits on the shot clock. His tough sledding on the interior against Alabama for Jemiah Neal. Just 2 for 7 shooting tonight. Seven seconds left in the shot clock. They run Miller off the screen, and here's Neal that follows him on a curl. Oh, tough shot. You were looking at the shot chart for Jemiah Neal in the last game that he had 19 against UNLV. He got some tough shots to go.
He did, thanks to shot quality, an analytics website as well. Based on the quality of looks he got, he should have only had about 16, 17, but makes contested tough shots.
I think you need an analytical intervention. I think you have way too many numbers in your head.
It is a bottomless pit. Just like your liquor bar.
Happy holidays. Have some eggnog. Corner 3 no good from Mason Miller. Stephen Ashworth was calling for it in that transition. Here's Philon for 3. And a push ahead. Here's Neal. And he blows the bunny. Bama has left the door open, and so far it's just led to Creighton blowing the heat right out to the street. Sears got it back. Ashworth wanted a walk. And a reverse for LeBaron Philon.
Keep an eye on that 4-point swing where you could have cut it to 7. Now it's 11. Could be a very big momentum changer.
Look at that guy. Kalkbrenner is like a freshman in high school playing on a 6-foot rim.
Just poor communication and execution. Nato's furious, and he's going to get a sub in right away for the post.
Take it away. Kalkbrenner ends up with it. Now Ashworth leading a 3-on-2. And Sears thought he had the strip. Ashworth went down hard. He needs a second to catch his breath.
Here's the missed dunk. Great kick ahead pass, and this is probably the only time you'll ever see Neal miss a dunk, and then Philon able to get a sweet reverse layup. But credit Creighton. I mean, they responded well. Now they've got themselves at the line and did not let that become a momentum-changing missed dunk. And I'll tell you, Ashworth, he's going head-to-head with one of the best point guards in the country, Mark Sears. We talked about it off top. He wants to show that he's in that conversation as well.
It was interesting, the comp that you had, having seen him as a freshman at Utah State, and asked how has your game grown, because both of these guys have grown immensely. Mark Sears started at Ohio, 40 starts over 2 years, turned into an elite player once he got to Alabama. And Ashworth talked about analytics, and he said, our coaches have done a great job teaching me and showing me through the numbers where I'm really good and what my weaknesses are, to try and, if you can't improve them, stay away from them in game.
Yeah, in particular, how poor he was off the bounce, and he just was not a good ball handler, more of a 2-guard. Now he can score off the ball, off the bounce, and operate the offense.
Philon draws the foul. It'll be charged to Jackson McAndrew. 6'10" freshman from Wayzata, Minnesota. His dad Steve played at North Dakota in the early 90s. Greg McDermott was an assistant coach back then on that North Dakota team. And here's LeBaron Philon to the free throw line.
They're high on McAndrew. I think he's got a bright future. Not only just a stretch player and a shooter, but seen him sometimes this season take it off the bounce, hit some mid-range shots. Getting a lot of great experience right now.
Low in common for LeBaron Philon, rated the #3 point guard coming out of high school, out of Link Academy. And he was playing in state in Mobile. He was a 2-time 7A player of the year. Alabama Mr. Basketball as a junior. Must have just beat out the kid from Gordo. Here's Neal. Kalkbrenner has room behind. They don't get it to him. Started by Amori. And so Kalkbrenner doesn't get a touch really in scoring position, and late in the clock, Neal's 3 is short.
They not only don't want Kalkbrenner to shoot it down low, they don't want him to touch it. Their offense is so much better when he gets a touch.
Ashworth with the bump, Sears in the N1. Second on Stephen Ashworth.
Now keep an eye on how Sears got an open look at the basket. Even though Kalkbrenner was down low, What Alabama's big man wants to do is clear space. Keep an eye on 11. Watch what he's going to do. He's going to try to run into Kalkbrenner, get him out of the way, and that does just enough to give Sears the open look.
Sears made a school record 198 free throws last year, on his way to 21.5 points a game. And we got a hold on the perimeter. Charge of Darion Reed, freshman from Grovetown, Georgia, was a McDonald's All-America. 4th highest rated recruit in program history, behind J.D. Davison, Brandon Miller, and Colin Sexton. I still think about that game against Minnesota. Colin Sexton nearly beat him 3-on-5.
Yep.
It was played the same day as the Iron Bowl, and so not as many people saw it. That one's short. Nelson with the rebound.
An assistant coach friend of mine was on that Minnesota staff, Ed Conroy, and that was a nervous time for that staff. You don't want to be part of the 3-on-5. 2012 Kentucky Wildcats. So the Big East, while not always getting as many teams in the field as they would like to, with the help of UConn and Villanova, have plenty of bragging rights.
Straight ahead three. Sherrell no. Rebounded by Isaac Trout.
It's got to be guys like Trout and Ashworth to hit some threes for him here in the second half.
Rolls home for Jason Green. Redshirted his first year on campus. That was when Creighton made an Elite 8 run. Crossover Holloway. Another rebound for Trout. He's going to foul away from the ball.
They've got Holloway. Teams are going to try to pick on him a little bit. Smaller guard, try to post him up.
He was a McDonald's All-America coming out of prolific prep in California. He's a Charlotte native. He was rated the #6 point guard in his class. Talking with the Creighton staff today, and they mentioned Alabama's depth. They said their second 5 would be just as good a starting 5 as a lot of teams. And now that includes Chris Youngblood, last year's American Athletic Conference Player of the Year, #8 in Crimson. Kalkbrenner for 3. Pulled down by Sears. Kalkbrenner came into this game 3rd in the country in effective field goal percentage. That weights your made threes a little bit more than 2s. Youngblood skips off the rim. Kalkbrenner lost the handle on that one. We got good hands. Reed, nope. Follows and fouls. And Darion Reed going to the free throw line.
He just sticks with it here. He knows he's got a tough contested 2. Really kind of pushes off there at first, but then Kalkbrenner with the rare foul as he brings his hand down. And Reed just being active.
We've talked a little bit about the connective tissue between these two programs. Darion Reed has an NIL agent out of Memphis, well, sometimes Miami. Mike Miller, who is the dad of Mason Miller, longtime NBA player, sharpshooter, leaner by Jemiah Neal. It's a pretty good agent to have, huh?
He's been around. Smart coach, coaching some high school basketball in Memphis. Loved Grizzly as well. Was part of Penny Hardaway's staff for a little while.
Youngblood puts it on the floor, kicks it back out. And it's yanked down by Neal. Well, that door is still open for Creighton. Can the Blue Jays take advantage? They're only shooting 38% this game. Kalkbrenner paint touch. Try to move quickly. Good post defense. Kalkbrenner still gets it to go. Ryan Kalkbrenner is chasing Tim Duncan as the only players in college basketball history. 2,000 points, 1,100 rebounds, and 400 blocks.
And right now, they're leaving Sherrell open for a reason. Even though he can shoot threes, 22, he hadn't been making them lately. And on the other end, they're trying to post him up. He's got to fight around and front Kalkbrenner.
Sears for Reed. Reed couldn't get it, and it follows up. Half dozen now for the freshman out of Grovetown, Georgia. 16 offensive rebounds for Alabama. That has led to 11 second chance points in a 10-point game. Neal with an elbow on Holloway. And they'll get Jemiah Neal for his 3rd personal. Wade Holloway just sticks his face in there, doesn't he?
He does. Just being aggressive here and trying to clear some space is Neal. And anytime you go above the head and neck there, it's going to be an offensive foul. But a basketball play, so nothing flagrant charged.
Neal gets a breather. Shane Thomas, 6'3" redshirt freshman, seeing some run tonight for Creighton. Nelson. It's like he's going up against his clone. It's a Spider-Man meme with Nelson versus Trout. Trout 6'10" out of Grand Island, Nebraska, and Nelson 6'11" out of Devil's Lake, North Dakota. It's like when you showed up wearing my outfit today at shoot-around.
I was there first.
But you barely got here. You need to give your man a shout out for helping you out today.
That's exactly right.
I got a text from Dane on the drive in today and said I stopped for coffee and my car wouldn't start back up.
And my new friend David Coggins, the Good Samaritan, stepped up big time for me with the jumper cables, got me back on the road.
Where was that?
Fort Payne.
Major pain. Car would have died on you. Can you expense a car battery?
I'm going to do my best.
Nelson lost it. Great hustle by Jason Green. Home crowd wanted a whistle. Ashworth. Kalkbrenner wanted to let it fly. Instead, he puts it on the floor. What a smooth move by Ryan Kalkbrenner. He's got 16. It is an 8-point difference.
You kidding me? 7'1" to pump fake and get to the rim that quickly off of one? That is tough.
Nelson inside. Brought it down with him, lost it. Trout on the floor. Ashworth comes out of there with it. Creighton's got a 4-on-4. Nobody picks up Ashworth, and he takes it all the way in, and we get a ball game.
How crafty was that? Just kept his head up the whole time, made Alabama think that he was going to do one of those hockey plays, go around and look for a pass. Instead, flips to the reverse.
Holloway working on Thomas. Youngblood in the paint, and he saves it in.
He's got some broad shoulders. It can be a mismatch down low.
Yeah, he's built like a linebacker. Ashworth through contact, dumps it in. Kalkbrenner. Oh, that should have been a whistle. McDermott pointing out those arms were not straight up, and it turns into.
If you can't get a whistle the next time down with it fresh on their mind.
And Ashford had to lay off Phylon after the entry. He's got 14. Ashford lets it fly. And a whistle and a foul against Bama on the rebound. That'll go against Mohamed Diabate, his first. Mason Miller returns for Creighton, and Trout takes a seat. King gave him some productive minutes in the first half at the 5 spot. It is just such a large disparity from Kalkbrenner. We got a jump ball possession arrow become keep it this way. And of course, if you take out the preseason player of the year, you're going to have a drop off no matter who it is.
Good dig right there by Mark Sears. I'm not sure he was planning on the double, but once he saw a ball within reach, they call that kind of a little bit of a stunt, just trying to bluff at the defender, but jumped all over.
Is that a habit? Stunting?
Yes. I see what you did there.
Ashworth fakes the kick, finishes.
That's sick, man. I mean, he refuses the ball screen, goes through his legs without really changing direction, just keeps a straight line to the basket.
Allen trying to wrap it into the corner and threw it away. 9th turnover of the game for Alabama. Creighton has been in the neighborhood. 8 points, 6 points, and every time something goes against the Blue Jays.
You know what would help? Not going 2 of 16 from 3. I mean, at some point, these guys got to get an open look and knock it down.
Aggressive play by Houston Mallett. It's his first. Bama just 1 of 7 from 3 this half. Busy day for Houston Mallett, huh? Look at Nate Oates react. He's saying, I'm trying to make this flat look better than Wimp Sanderson did. I don't remember Wimp in a muted taupe color, but nonetheless, his coach is watching tonight. Here's Ashworth. Looked at a mid-range, kicks it out. 3 ball from Green. 2 for 17 from deep, to your point. And then Bama turns it over again. Nelson and Sears couldn't decide who wanted it. Dribbled it across the inline.
I tell you, Ashworth has just controlled the pace, though, for Creighton. Get guys open looks, even despite all these misses. 5 assists, just 2 turnovers, and it just has a motor. He's been playing on a bum ankle as well, but you wouldn't know it.
Kalkbrenner in there now. Ashworth running circles. He spends a lot of time with the ball in his hands. Shot clock at 7. Steps through, launches a 3. Wanted a whistle from Philon, and empty possession for Creighton. Philon going right after him with 3 fouls. Smart play by the freshman from Mobile. Here's a lob, and it's broken up. Good play by Clifford Amore, the Rutgers transfer. Philon steps through, and then Nelson fails to finish. That'll quiet the home crowd just a bit as Green converts. It's back to 8 again.
A 4-point swing of their own. This place would have exploded with Nelson making that one.
Sears gets the whistle that Ashworth didn't a couple of possessions ago. It's charged to Shane Thomas.
This kid Philon is such a dynamic player, exciting guy to watch, and just so electric in the lane. He'll Euro step some, he'll post you some, and blow by you. He has such an amazing pace once he gets in the paint.
Here's his backcourt mate, Mark Sears. What do you think of Sears' efficiency so far this year? The numbers that jump out, 29% from 3. Last year he was at 44%.
He's off. I mean, that's just what it is. Coach Oates says they could have a little bit better spacing. But you got to remember, this was a guy that was an underdog and was always the hunter. And now he's the hunted. And everybody's bringing their best shot at him. And the preseason accolades put a target on your back. Tell you one thing, though, he's 40th in the country at fouls drawn, and he continues to get himself to the free throw line. That's what scorers do.
Not a good pass to Neal.
There's not been much rhythm for Alabama's offense, and despite not making threes, you can't forget how important this game is for both teams. I mean, if Alabama wants to continue to try to get a 1 seed, you got to defend home court against a great team like Creighton. And for Creighton, I mean, this could be, if you're looking to be a 6 maybe come March, this could become a 5-4 if you win one on the road.
Sears gets the and 1, and more importantly, that is the 4th on Stephen Ashworth.
And Alabama recognizes that Ashworth can't play as aggressive after picking up that 3rd foul and the questionable block charge. And here he is, just must have gotten tripped up there.
I think that is evidence that Mark Sears is a genius at getting off balance and selling fouls. He's perfect from the free throw line. Until now. Kalkbrenner battling in the paint. Neal trying to take advantage, and a shot to the head from Clifford Amore is his second personal. At least that was a call.
Well, much better job, Alabama, fronting the post and having backside help. And let's see if Amore got him on the head at all. And may have just at the end. I think he got all ball up top, but the official saw a little bit of forearm to the head of Neal. Well, and this is a category, again, Creighton wants to make more free throws than the opponent takes. And that has not happened in this game. They are 9 of 12 compared to Alabama's 9 of 14. And this is, again, a category they're usually around +6.
Ashworth comes out of the game at the 7-12 mark. How long does Greg McDermott leave him over there?
Minute? Not long. Minute and a half or so. I'm sure they'll try to buy some time, but
I'll put Shane Thomas in for him. Youngblood for 3. That one was halfway home.
The other thing you got to gauge is, can your team maybe get consecutive buckets, get a little bit of momentum, but
Cuffed up. A run out. And the jam by Darion Reed. The lead is ballooned to 13 for Alabama. Shot clock at 8. Neal doesn't use the Kalkbrenner screen. It's at 3 and it's out of bounds, and a Creighton turnover.
not a coincidence that as soon as Ashworth came out of the game, he's going to check right back in. So probably less than a minute.
1 minute, 1 second.
I mean, a turnover happens and Reed does the rest. And you're seeing now that Creighton really doesn't have a player like Ashworth that can create for others. And so a lot of standing, watching, and easy to deny when you don't have a point guard out there. Again, with Pop Isaacs out for the season, it has really changed their team.
Youngblood. Terrence Stevenson with an air ball. Ashworth playing a 4. He hasn't fouled out all season. Sat for 61 seconds shortly after picking up his 4th. McAndrew left wide open. Drilled it.
Terrific action there. Came off the ball screen, had the yo-yo screen with Kalkbrenner rolling, and
Sears no. It's out of bounds. Will stay with Bama. 5:25 to play. Nate Oates has so many weapons available to him on the offensive end, including this guy. And Sears buries another triple. That's his 3rd of the game. He's got 20 points. Darion Reed whistled for his 3rd personal. 5:06 to go. The biggest question for me is whether or not there's enough jet fuel for Creighton to get back in this game. And if they do, what impact does their lack of depth have on it?
Yeah, this is where it starts catching up to you. The fresh legs, and even worse, Mark Sears. We all know he has not been shooting as well as he wanted to early in this season, but I thought he found a rhythm in their last game at North Carolina, and that has carried over to where now he sees a couple of those go in like that. He's like, all right, we're back. And that's probably Creighton's biggest problem right now.
He's got his 54th 20-point game. Ashworth finishes it off. Everybody left after the first free throw. I thought maybe I had missed something.
When you look back at Creighton's losses, other than the tough one to Texas A&M, 77-73, San Diego State held them to 53. Nebraska held them to 63. And so Alabama, well, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster offensively. I think defensively, they've played a pretty good 35 minutes.
Creighton shows zone for the first time. A 1-3-1 look. Maybe that'll help Ashworth stay out of foul trouble playing with 4. Or at least throwing a wrinkle at Bama. Reed off balance. Good body control. He's got double figures. Skip past McAndrew open again. Boom! Buries it again.
This kid's got a stroke, man. I don't know if it'll be enough to bring him back, but he's going to keep him in it. Great find by Ashworth. He's now got 17 and 8 playing with those 4 fouls.
Minnesota, Mr. Basketball and Gatorade Player of the Year, the same state that produced guys like Jalen Suggs and Chet Holmgren. Previous award winners for both of those.
They don't play a ton of zone, but Alabama prepared for it. They went through several sets against this 1-3-1, and that wasn't one of them. Guard to guard, shoot the 3. I mean, when they were patient and they got guys flashing from the corners to the high post, that's where you get good action.
It's safe to say the Youngblood's going to be more efficient the more reps he gets under his belt. This is his first game. We approach the 4-minute mark. Creighton trying to cut it to single digits. Ashworth on foul line. McAndrew.
Same exact play that they had on the first 3 he hit.
They've already had him McBuckets, but if he keeps it up.
But we've never seen it like this, to where it was just a national story, unanimous of SEC domination. And Alabama right now trying to pull off what would be a really quality home win.
Ashworth buries the 3. He's got a 20-point game, and he's been playing with 4 fouls, good chunk of it. Where does Alabama want to go against the zone?
Well, they like to ball screen it, and they'll look to try to get somebody in that bottom corner cutting at the last minute.
Nelson with the lob and a foul inside. Charge to Jackson McAndrew.
Good ball movement, though, and they've got such good passers, especially with Nelson on the interior, who can really be sort of a point center for you in there.
And so 2 free throws coming for Clifford Amore. How about the point guard matchup in this one? Sears with 20, Ashworth with 20.
Both have been just big-time players, hit timely shots, and every time you think Alabama has just put a dagger in Creighton and starting to get separation, Mark Sears will hit a big bucket, and then Ashworth will come down and make a key assist, or like he did just there, hit a big triple.
Moore, 5th-year player, came over from Rutgers, the Big Ten defensive team, and he has provided a great rim protector for Alabama, something that Nate Oates had been missing the last couple of seasons. McAndrew kicks it out. Ashworth has been running his tail off, nearly lost his footing. Shot clock at 9. Kalkbrenner looks to pass. And Neal cashes in on the assist from Kalkbrenner.
Terrific patience, and that's why it's so important to get Kalkbrenner a touch. Not just for him to score, but he can pass out of it. He draws so much attention, you'll have shooters open.
Nelson went high-low last time. Sears steps into a 3. That is a great example of what they've seen on tape. A lot of Sears threes have come with him fading away from the basket. He stepped into that one. Lob, Kalkbrenner.
Why those quad 1 win opportunities are so good, that's a key measuring stick for the NCAA. And when you're in the SEC conference, it's hard to find anything on your schedule that will be viewed as a bad loss.
Nelson and Green both slip. Must be a wedge spot in that near corner. Shot clock at 9, and it's turned over. Under 2 to play, down 7. Ashworth, the lob. saved on the baseline, and the loose ball corralled by Bama. 3-on-2. Reed right around Ashworth. What a play. Here's McAndrew for three. Again!
Looks like they might match up here. We'll see.
1:20 to play. 6-point game. Sears guarded by Ashworth, who's got 4. Got to be careful. Shot clock at 12. Sears with a burst to the baseline. Kalkbrenner bails him out. Nelson, no. Rebounded by Neal. 1 minute to play. Creighton still in the sync. Bama led by 17 at one point.
Got the stop they needed. A nice flare screen.
Here comes the pressure. They wanted a foul. Ashworth wasn't sure he wanted to give it up. He asked somebody else to do it. And finally, Kalkbrenner with the intentional foul to stop the clock at 33.6.
Phylon throws it down low to Morey, but just a 63% shooter. Not sure he shouldn't have kept that ball in his hands. When you know a team's going to foul, keep it in the guard's hands. You're better free throw shooters. Just a small thing, but a learning experience here.
So Clifford Amore, who's 2 for 2 at the free throw line to try to make it a 3-possession game. He does just that. One more for Omori, who made his 105th career start tonight.
Big time shots there by the big man.
Didn't look like a 63% free throw shooter, did he?
We'd like to see if they can get McAndrew open. They've had some great set plays for him. Just got to find him.
Here he is. Whoa! And he's fouled! Jackson McAndrew, have a night, big fella.
Grant Nelson with the deep contest. Thinking he's not going to pull from there, is he? Is he? And then he goes from point A to point B. And anytime you jump in the air and you go into the offensive player's space, you make yourself vulnerable for a foul call. Nate Oates hated the call. But when you jump in the air like that, the officials tend to give the benefit of the doubt to the offense.
He had a double-double in his first start against San Diego State, the first freshman at Creighton to do that since Ryan Nembhard. 4-point play. He has tied his career high with a 16-point performance. All of his makes have come from behind the arc. They take him out for a moment for defensive purposes. They've also taken Ashworth out for the moment. So Ty Davis at a Mountain Brook among the 5 on the floor. They need a quick foul. Sears has it in his hands. And he'll go to the free throw line. It's a 4th on Neal. And you're going to put one of the best free throw shooters in the country at the free throw line. Last year, Mark Sears on the way to the Final Four set an Alabama single-season school record for both points and free throws made.
We've touched on it a couple times. This is a category Creighton really separates themselves from their opponent, but you look up and Alabama's won the free throw battle. That's 14 free throw makes right now compared to Creighton's 13, where they're typically at +5. That, in a lot of ways, is the difference in the game.
6-point advantage thanks to Sears, who's got 25 in this one.
Here's Jaron Stevenson checking in for defensive purposes as well. This guy's 0 for 3. Hasn't played great offensively, but he's become a stud on the defensive side. He locked down UNC guards, R.J. Davis in that big win.
Hand off McAndrew. 15. Ashworth with 2 hands in his face. And Alabama's going to survive this test from Creighton. stay undefeated at home and get through one of the toughest non-conference gauntlets with impressive wins for Nate Oates.
They came up with a key stop there towards the end, and Alabama's offense was really good in stretches. I think Nate Oates in his postgame is going to talk about how they closed out halves defensively. I mean, they had a double-digit lead against Creighton here in the first half, but then Creighton clawed back towards the end of the first half. They did the same thing here in the second, so you've got to tip your cap to the fight of Creighton. Every time you thought a knockout blow had come, they were getting themselves off the mat, but Sears and company clutch at the free throw line to close this one out.
And he'll finish with a 27-point performance. McAndrew off with a kick. 3.1 remaining. This will end a 23-day span for Creighton, where they face Nebraska, Oregon, San Diego State, Texas A&M, UNLV, and Kansas. Quite a run for Creighton as they get ready for Big East play.